Welcome back. On today's episode, we're going to find out who moves on to the championship match to battle against One Fish Chris. So sit back, grab a pot of coffee. This is Bustin' Sticks. All right, we're into match number 6, semifinals. Garrett Paquette versus Jeff Elliott in the Quality Kitchen's Monster Bass Beatdown on Cedar Island Lake. Mike, this match is going to determine which fisherman moves on to fish against One Fish Chris Williams for the championship title, Bustin' Sticks.
The one that gets to claim supremacy for the first season,
That's
if you will.
right.
If you will.
That's right.
You know, Garrett got to us by beating Aaron Cushell on middle straights. Jeff came to us by taking out the Portage Princess, if you will, on Lake Orion, which I know is one of your favorite lakes.
Absolutely.
So that's putting these two together. Now, I like both these sticks a lot. Fished with Jeff quite a bit, like I've said before. Haven't had the opportunity to fish with Garrett, but I was really looking forward to these two picking Cedar Island apart. It's known for the big smallies. These two can find fish pretty good.
You know what? It's a cool lake. I was really excited when we talked about these guys, but I tell you what, Mike, let's not waste much time here. Let's get right to the coin toss and the pre-tournament thoughts. Jeff, you're the elder here. Call it in the air.
Heads.
Heads it is. You'll be blasting off first.
Jeff, you squeaked by, you squeaked by Sean Ford in the last, 45 minutes on Orion?
It was tough last time, you know, I waited till 3 hours and 15 minutes into the match to catch a fish. I'm hoping to not do that today. I'm gonna take a little different approach today. I'm gonna mix it up between shallow and deep and see what happens.
All right, now have you been on this lake before?
I have never even heard of this lake until last night, so.
Okay, after you found out about the lake, did you do any research? Did you look at anything?
I looked at Google Maps, you know, there's quite a bit of stuff that looks pretty interesting to me out here, so we'll see what happens.
Garrett, you got by Aaron Cushell on middle straights with a real good sack for that lake. When you got this lake last night, did you look it up? Did you research it? What's your game plan going in here?
I Google imaged it a little bit on satellite. I'm just looking for some few key areas. The lake looks like it's mostly sandy, so if you can find weed beds out here, I think it's gonna be pretty key, and I found a few of those areas. Hopefully they're holding fish.
We're out here at Cedar Island Lake.
Yep.
Guys have blasted off. We've got them out on the water. I'm hoping they sack some fish today. I know we've heard a lot of great things about this lake.
It's an amazing body of water to start off with. It's one of the few glacier lakes in Oakland County, which that means that it's an extremely deep lake. There's spots in that lake over 100 feet deep. So that can make the fishing extremely difficult. The other thing is that the lake is extremely clear. You can see 10, 15 feet down in that body of water. There's a lot of points, sandbars, weed beds. There's a little bit of everything. There's canals where you can go in and slop fish.
What kind of fish do you think these guys are going to key on today, or is there largemouth and smallmouth both in the lake?
Oh, absolutely. There's both, and in good numbers and good sizes, both. I think, you know, depending on the weather and the patterns, I think I would target smallmouth initially. But then you can change over to largemouth at any time. I mean, it's that flexible.
I'm excited. I can't wait. You know what? Watching them blast off and head out there, I just, you know, you heard me earlier. When do I get to go? When do I get to go?
Right.
You talk about these big smallmouth. You know, I think Jeff Elliott had a pretty good program going when he left the launch here. He was talking about mixing it up a little bit between shallow and deep water. Garrett's looking for some weeds.
See, I like what Garrett said, though. Garrett looked at that map, and when that kid keys on those little weed spots, the kid catches fish. And I like what he's going to do. A little bit better than I liked what Jeff's going to do, but
I can't wait to see if it works out for my style of fishing. I don't know. I mean, it's covered with docks. It could be a good dock bite. Sun's up this morning. I think it's supposed to be sunny all day today, like a high of 85 or something like that.
82 or 85. Winds 5 to 7 and no snow. So we should be good to go.
Are you going to put me on some fish today?
I'm going to try. Let's get the boat in the water and go see what we can get on.
Sounds good.
All right.
So there's a little point down here. I'm gonna get on it and start with the top water, see what happens. I think, you know, predominantly smallies, you're gonna be hitting your points and stuff like that today. right now is going to be one of the best times to catch a good one. So
in the morning here, I'm just going to try to hit a few key areas, hit them with 5 or 6 different baits, just see if I can figure something out, try to get a couple bonus fish early in the morning, hopefully a couple good ones.
And if it wasn't for having Garrett go second, I'd probably start right in between there, just because those are great places to catch smallmouth, little places in between lakes. So I'm throwing just a topwater popper right now. It's actually a old discontinued Gary Yamamoto Sugoi Splash. My absolute favorite popper. My very first cast with it caught a 5.14 fish in a tournament, so it's got some good history behind it too.
That's why you love and hate topwater. They don't all get it. They actually look like a better fish too.
I believe this point is like right in here somewhere. I popped up a little bit into like 16 feet. I forgot my sunglasses today. They're actually back on the big boat I work on in Lake Michigan. I think it's kind of karma for last weekend I fished a tournament with my girlfriend and her sunglasses went flying going about 65, and I think I'm getting some paybacks for that.
Little one. At least we know they're there. What this spot basically is, at least what I could tell from Google Maps, is that this is basically the biggest weed bed in the whole lake. So anytime you got weeds, there's always going to be some sort of bait around and hopefully some sort of bass around.
I'm actually a little surprised this is a predominantly smallmouth lake. I was not expecting that today. I was kind of hoping to see some thick weeds, maybe a little dingier water. But I can certainly adapt to this. I have no problem fishing for smallmouth.
They're down there. I just don't know if they're the right size or not.
I'm gonna go find this little island now. I'm gonna spend a little time there, I think. Since it's smallmouth, humps and things like that usually tend to be pretty productive. There's a couple nice little saddles right out here, nice little points and stuff. All right, here's this island. There's got to be fish on it. I'm coming right up.
So maybe if I start throwing a 10-inch bait, I'll start catching keeper bass.
Get up here and look a little bit and kind of get a feel for what the bottom looks like. Always helps out a little bit. You got some rocks down there, you got some scattered weeds. According to Google Maps, there should be a saddle in between this point over somewhere in here and this hump. And it's on my Lake Master too, and that'll be a great spot if it's like a little flat that's got some bait on it. You know, 15, 16 feet deep or something like that. Should be a lot of fish around. There's a good one. I don't like it that he's shallow. No, maybe he's not a good one. Gosh, sucked it like he was a good one. I'm not even gonna keep. Fish is so long and skinny, I'm actually gonna have to put him on the measuring board. Just to see. Oh man, he's just short, 1/4 inch short. Weighs about 1/2 pound. See, this makes it a little tougher. I've caught 3 largemouth and I've only seen 1 smallmouth. But yet our TV hosts claim there's big smallies. And our TV hosts, you know, Todd Glover, Mike Ray, I just don't know if I want to believe those guys.
I know there's some big ones in here. I've seen them. I can't get these babies to bite. I've seen a lot of big ones. I think one spot we seen, what, 4 or 5 4-pounders swimming around in one little area. We tried jigging them. We tried drop shotting them. We tried top watering them. We've tried everything. Reaction bite to a real subtle small baits. And the best we can get out of them is to come and look at it, and that's it. They're not eating it. So hopefully it turns on a little bit here. All right, hour 1, no fish in the live well.
Nope.
But still a real productive hour. You know, Mike, the sun's starting to come up. The guys are starting to see a few fish. And I tell you, Jeff Elliott is giving us an instructional seminar, play-by-play of the entire lake.
I like the way Jeff breaks lakes down. You know, he's not afraid to talk to us. He's not afraid to tell us what he's looking for, what he's looking at, or how he's doing it. Garrett's honed in on those weed beds. He's found the one that he likes. He's picking it apart, staying in that area, catching a lot of fish, but every single one of them are shorts.
What's your thoughts? Does he need to make a move?
I don't know. Would I move? I probably
You
wouldn't.
probably wouldn't. You would sit there all day long for the rest of the day. You know what? Let's get out there for an hour or two. Let's see if Garrett's making that move, and let's see what else Jeff is willing to share with us.
Back to school with Jeff?
Absolutely.
Makes a nice turn in by the bank, kind of where one of those other fish were. See if we can find a little pattern like that going on.
There's about a 3-pounder sitting right there. It's a good sign at least.
I just got bit right there. Right off the end of the point. Yep, he bit again. I think this one's a little better. No, maybe not. I can see him down there. I don't think he's a keeper. Oh yeah, maybe he is. No. Another little one. Swing's in real tight to the bank here. A couple little deeper docks or docks that are really close to deep water on a lake like this can sometimes have fish with them. Nice little 14-inch largemouth would be nice right now. All right, let's go check a little bit more of this lake out. Let's see what else it's got to offer before I waste any more time doing this, unless I have to. So it looks like there's almost a little creek that feeds in up here, as well as a bunch of backwater stuff. So of course Glover and Mike Ray are in there sticking our fish, so we'll avoid that little spot for a minute, I guess. But I'm gonna try to squeeze in between here. You can see where it breaks in the seawall up here. I'd like to get a couple keepers in the boat before I have to depend on deep fish like that. That seem to be just a bunch of small ones.
Starting to wonder there's a keeper in this place.
And I don't know, I don't think I can even get in there. There's some lily pads though. I'll give those a shot on the outside. Oh, I can get in there. I'll probably fish deep, back off from it too. Because sometimes, you know, fish will come in between places. Some will be up in there, then they'll come out. They'll just keep moving back and forth. It looks pretty sick back in there though, so I'm kind of excited about it. See, they're watering the lawn up there, getting in the lake, creating a little current for us. Ideal. Some bluegills down there.
I'm giving up on smallies. We're going largie fishing. I think when the sun gets up here in a few hours, I think it's gonna position these fish on this breaks a little bit. Everything's just scattered out right now. It's hard to find them concentrated. So there's a few shallow canals in here. We'll go run those, see if we can catch any largies, and then maybe come back out here for the last hour, try to catch a 4 or 5 pounder. That was a bass, that was a giant. Looked about 20 inches long. It might have been a dogfish. Still short. It's actually so shallow in here, you can see the wakes behind your frog as they're coming up to get it. It's kind of crazy.
I think this lake sucks. Someone's got to talk to that guy who picks these lakes.
All right, we got both guys catching fish. They're shorts. Frustration's really starting to set in, Mike.
Yep.
These guys have moved away from that deep water, moved away from the smallies, and they're going after those large heads.
Yeah, both of them. And you know what? They moved about the same time, too. They both moved to the canals. They're fishing, trying to find slop, trying to find dirty water, flipping and frogging in the back. Garrett missed what looked to be like a pretty decent one.
A large head. Let me make sure everybody knows. I think that was a large head, not a dogfish, Mike.
Well, I don't think it was a dogfish either. Here's why. Within 10 yards, second cast, he hooked up on another, and this one was a largemouth. It was short, but he did hook up on one. So I think he missed a pretty decent large head prior to that. Jeff was coming out of one of the canals, and point blank, Jeff thinks this lake sucks.
you know, Jeff, I'm really sorry, dude, you think the lake sucks, but maybe when we come back in the next hour, he can figure out how to make things change a little bit. I think maybe it was just a little of Jeff.
There's definitely bluegills that I can see on the depth finder down there. There's like a 2.5 pounder sitting here earlier. Pretty confident we can get one to bite. It's also not helping that it's just dead still. Dead still and clear water are never a good combo. We're out. I cannot catch a break right now. Well, I got him to bite again. And of course he came off. Man, this is killing me. It's like 4 bites in a row maybe that I haven't connected on. That's not good. Especially when the fishing seems to be kind of tough. Once again, not what we're looking for. There's one. Got one with him too. Finally. Story of the day so far. Hey, is this predominantly a largemouth or a smallmouth lake? I guess they went line then. We're gonna go check where we first started. That area is the best weeds that I've seen so far. The sun might have put them out on it, hopefully. And go see if we can catch some of them.
All right, we pulled up on Jeff Elliott here. As we said earlier, he's got 1 fish in the box. From what we understand, it's just over a pound. So it's a start, not a giant fish. Bite's been really, really tough. He's fishing a sunken island here out in the middle of the lake now. Earlier we saw him, he was fishing tight to shore.
Imagine that, another little one. This one's brown at least, though. There he is. He'll probably keep.
Looks like it's a pretty good fish. We'll find out here. Oh, maybe not. Let's see if this fish measures. It could be his first fish of the day. Garrett's been fishing offshore all morning on isolated weed beds and whatnot, and he's had a pretty good struggle so far this morning, but looks like he might be getting something together here. Let's see if this fish measures.
It's 14 inches.
Looks like this is going to be Garrett's first fish of the day, so now we've got a game going here. Both guys have one fish.
What that fish told me is that I really need to slow down. I was not even moving the bait, and he ate it.
Hour 3, they each have one fish.
Yeah.
You know, I think if Jeff paid a little bit more attention to his hook sets and quit worrying about the lake sucking, he might have a few more fish in the live box.
You think a little bit? I've never, you know, I fished with Jeff, not a lot, but a few times. I've never seen him not hook up this many times. They both seem to be moving around a little bit. Garrett's back to where he started on that weed bed again. He got
And
one
he's
off it.
pounding
Oh,
it.
man, he is trying. He's still catching a lot of shorts. I think he's kind of hoping the bigger ones, you know, with the sun coming up and everything, the bigger ones have moved in, and he can latch on to a couple of those here in the last hour.
You know what? Jeff really needs to set up on these fish that he's getting bites from. If he lands, just think if he landed half of the fish that he's lost so far, he'd have 5 in the box
He'd be
already.
sitting pretty. He'd have 5, and we
Absolutely.
wouldn't be 1-1. You know what I'm saying?
And if Garrett could just hook up on a couple of bigger fish, he could really have something going on.
Well, I think the frogfish hurt Garrett, and I think he had, he's seen a couple of 3s, 2.5s, 3s, or 3.5s, I don't remember which. He's seen a couple of them. He didn't try, like Jeff tried to fish him. Garrett didn't try to fish him.
Absolutely.
So I don't know what Garrett was thinking and why he moved on, but you know what? That's not the way I guess I would play it, but that's his choice.
Absolutely. All right, guys, let's see how we did today. How was it out there on the water?
It was really tough, you know.
How about for you, Garrett?
Extremely tough.
You know, I found the same thing today. Saw a lot of big fish. Couldn't get them to bite, but let's see what you guys got. Garrett, what you got in the bag there for us?
I only managed one keeper today.
Garrett, you got a total weight of 1 pound, 8 ounces. Good job. It was a tough bite out there today, bud.
Absolutely.
Really, really was. All right, Jeff, what do you got for us?
I got a limit of little ones for you.
You got a limit, though.
I got a limit. It was a grind. Took me all day to get them.
A couple of good, healthy fish in here, though.
Yeah, I missed some opportunities. I could have had a few healthier ones, but that's fishing.
Another healthy, nice smallmouth. All right, let's get a total weight for you. Jeff, it looks like you're moving on with 8 pounds, 7 ounces. Good job. Garrett, unfortunately for you in the game of busting sticks, you either hook up or you shut up. Looks like you're out of here, bud. You're gonna have to pass these sticks over to Jeff. Jeff, you're moving on to the final round. How difficult was this lake for you?
It was super tough. I went in knowing it was predominantly a smallie lake. I went in with the attitude that I'm gonna have to fish deeper or cover some sandy spots or do something like that. You know, I started the day out trying to get a couple quick bites on the top water on some places I thought they'd come up and feed. Didn't work out, went deep. Started throwing an Erie darter, something that usually works really well when you're dealing with smallmouth and fishing deep. I don't want a lot of action with the bait, but it'll catch largemouth like crazy too. So I went there, didn't have much going on. I did end up picking up a decent largemouth off a dock with the darter, and that's another thing. Phenomenal bait under docks when you're dealing with smallies. You know, normally I want to throw a big jig, I'm fishing for largemouth. Didn't happen this time. Didn't really try it. You know, I went on a streak where I missed a bunch of fish. I'm getting real frustrated. I crept up back in this one canal and there's bait busting. There's a fish, there's a fish. And they're out in the middle, so I'm like, well, what am I gonna do? I pick up a Nemesis Sicko, toss that out there, catch one right away. Throw it out there again, I think I catch a short one. Throw it out there again, I see a keeper coming up just chasing it. I kill it, it flutters down, bam, keeper number 3 in the boat. And I throw it around a little bit more, nothing going on, so I'm like, you know what, these fish are chasing bait. They're shallow, we got some weeds around. I don't normally do this much, especially in this kind of area. I picked up a square bill crankbait out of the tackle box and threw it, bang, keeper number 4.
You know, early in the match you mentioned, you know, this lake sucks. Do you think that had anything to do with some of the missed fish? You know, we saw you miss a few fish, a couple fish that you didn't hook up on. Could that have maybe set the mode or the mood, if you will, for that attitude that we saw there for a minute?
You know, it may have. I was really frustrated, but I promise you when I'm really frustrated, I'm not losing my focus at all. I missed some opportunities. I missed a lot of opportunities, but when I'm in that situation, the only thing I can go do is try to create another opportunity for myself. You know, a lost fish is a lost fish, a missed fish is a missed fish. but there's another one out there that's going to eat. So,
you know, you got to pick up and you got to keep moving on with it. You stuck to your game plan. You know, now that you've been to Cedar Island Lake, if you were going to go back there again, would you change anything up at all?
Absolutely. I'd probably stick and do the same thing I did right off the get-go, try to get a nice smallie. But after that, you know, I'm going to kind of cruise around and I'm going to look for fish. One of the things that happened to get my limit fish is I pulled out of that canal and boom, there's a big smallie sitting right there. There's another one right next to him. Dropped a drop shot down there. Sure enough, eats it. Problem is, he ate the weight. So there goes like a 3.5 pounder. You know, my limit fish, I'm like, this could do it for me. Lose him. But right over there is a whole nother canal. I'm like, you know what? There's probably one sitting at the mouth of that too. Sure enough, there's a real nice one sitting at the mouth of that. Couldn't get him to bite. I went up in there a little bit, 2 pounders cruising along, get it in front of him, comes up, eats it, got a limit. So if I had to go back again and do it, I'd have looked around, tried to find fish, and seeing how they were staying in one spot, I would have spent all day coming back to an individual fish and trying to get them in my live well.
With our rules, what do you think's the hardest aspect?
It's got to be not knowing the body of water you're going to till 12 hours before. You know, you're told about a lake. You know, this lake, Cedar Island, I never even heard of it, so I got no info on it. You know, luckily we've got Google Earth and stuff like that where you can do a little recon and look at a map, but you get dumped off your trailer, it's game time. You don't have time to ride around and look for some bait or look for some points and see what's actually down there. You just got to go with your instincts and really try to maximize your time fishing your instincts. If it looks good, go fish it. You know, and try to put something together that's working.
You know, there we have it from a guy that's won 2 of our matches. He's moving on to the championship round to fish against One Fish Chris Williams. And you know, it's only a game, and that's what we got to remember. But what is the game?
Hook up or shut up.
This is a Brandy Rocks production.